Have you ever wondered about the origins of one of Christianity's most sacred and mysterious celebrations? Corpus Christi, which translates to the body of Christ, is a festival steeped in history, devotion, and profound spiritual significance. While widely revered, its true meaning and origins remain a mystery to many, even within the Christian community. This story, stretching back to the heart of medieval Europe, is not just about a religious tradition, it's a journey through faith, miracles, and divine intervention that has shaped the way millions of believers honor the Eucharist today. In the 13th century, Europe was a place of deep religious fervor and spiritual exploration, yet also a time when doubts crept into the hearts of even the most devout. Among them was a humble priest from Prague, Father Peter, whose internal struggle with his faith brought him to question one of the most foundational aspects of Christian belief, the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Determined to find answers, Father Peter embarked on a pilgrimage to Rome, seeking clarity and strength in the eternal city. Yet it was not Rome that would offer him the sign he desperately needed. Instead, his journey took an unexpected turn in the small town of Bolsena, a place known for its devotion to Saint Christina, a martyr whose story of unwavering faith in the face of persecution had inspired generations. It was there, during the celebration of Mass, that something extraordinary occurred, an event so miraculous that it would alter not only Father Peter's life, but the history of the Church itself. This was the moment when the mystery of Corpus Christi truly began, setting the stage for a legacy of faith and devotion that continues to inspire believers around the world. Today, we'll uncover this remarkable story, exploring how a single miracle, a saint's enduring legacy, and the vision of a pope came together to create one of Christianity's most meaningful traditions. So, sit back and join us as we journey through the history, the miracle, and the profound significance of Corpus Christi. Before we dive into this incredible journey, take a moment to support our channel by hitting the subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss stories like these. If you're ready to uncover the true origins of Corpus Christi and its enduring legacy, don't forget to leave a like and share this video with others who love exploring faith and history. Now, let's begin. Part 1. Historical context. The story of Corpus Christi is deeply rooted in the extraordinary events of the 13th century, an era of unwavering religious devotion mixed with occasional moments of doubt and spiritual struggle. At the heart of this narrative is Father Peter of Prague, a devout priest whose personal crisis of faith would set the stage for one of Christianity's most profound miracles. This is a story of faith questioned, faith restored, and a divine moment that continues to inspire believers worldwide. Father Peter, like many priests of his time, held a deep reverence for the Eucharist, the sacrament in which bread and wine are consecrated during Mass and believed to become the body and blood of Christ. This doctrine, known as the real presence, was a cornerstone of Christian theology. However, despite his devotion, Father Peter found himself struggling with doubt. How could something so ordinary as bread and wine truly embody Christ's presence? Wrestling with these questions, Father Peter embarked on a pilgrimage to Rome, the spiritual heart of Christianity, in search of clarity and a renewal of his faith. On his journey, Father Peter passed through the small Italian town of Bolsena, a picturesque village on the shores of a tranquil lake. Bolsena was already renowned for its religious significance, being the home of Saint Christina, a young martyr from the 3rd or 4th century whose story of unwavering faith had inspired generations. Christina's life was marked by immense suffering and miraculous interventions. Born into a pagan family, she converted to Christianity at a young age despite the fierce opposition of her father, Urbanus, a local official. Her father, enraged by her conversion, subjected her to brutal tortures, including being tied to a heavy stone and thrown into Lake Bolsena. Yet, as legend has it, the stone miraculously floated, carrying Christina safely above the water. This miracle cemented her legacy as a symbol of steadfast faith and divine protection. While the story of Saint Christina and her relics added a profound spiritual atmosphere to Bolsena, Father Peter's experience at the Church of Saint Christina would take this small town's legacy to even greater heights. Seeking solace and clarity, he decided to celebrate Mass in this sacred space. It was during this Mass that the extraordinary occurred. As Father Peter elevated the consecrated host, the bread believed to become the body of Christ, he witnessed a miraculous event. Blood began to flow from the host, staining his hands and the linen altar cloth, known as the corporal. Stunned by this divine sign, Father Peter's heart was overwhelmed with awe and faith. This miracle was a direct and unmistakable confirmation of the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, dispelling the doubts that had tormented him. The news of this miracle spread rapidly, reaching not only the townspeople but also the wider Christian community. Determined to ensure the authenticity of what he had witnessed, Father Peter carefully preserved the blood-stained corporal and made his way to Outtro, where Pope Urban IV was residing. Upon hearing Father Peter's account and examining the evidence, Pope Urban IV recognized the significance of this event as a divine affirmation of the Church's teachings. The blood-stained corporal was enshrined in Outtro, where it remains to this day as one of Christianity's most sacred relics. The miracle at Bolsena came at a pivotal moment in the history of the Catholic Church. Decades earlier, Saint Juliana of Liege, a devout Augustinian nun, had received a series of mystical visions urging the establishment of a feast dedicated to the Eucharist. In her visions, Juliana saw a bright moon marred by a dark spot, symbolizing the absence of a special feast to honor the Eucharist. Although she faced resistance during her lifetime, her visions had reached the attention of the Church, including a young archdeacon named Jac Pantolian, who later became Pope Urban IV. Inspired by both the miracle at Bolsena and the visions of Saint Juliana, Pope Urban IV decided to take decisive action. In 1264, he issued the papal bull Transiturus de hoc mundo, officially instituting the feast of Corpus Christi as a universal celebration in the Catholic Church. The feast was intended to provide a joyful and solemn occasion dedicated exclusively to the glory of the Eucharist, separate from the sorrowful reflections of Holy Thursday. By establishing this feast, Pope Urban IV aimed to reaffirm the Church's teachings on the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, particularly during a time when heretical movements, such as the Cathars, were challenging this doctrine. The papal bull not only outlined the theological significance of the feast, but also called for the creation of hymns and prayers to accompany the celebrations. To achieve this, Pope Urban IV enlisted the help of St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the greatest theologians of the era. St. Thomas composed several works for the feast, including the hymn Lauda Sion, which remains a cornerstone of Eucharistic devotion to this day. His writings reflected a profound understanding of the mystery of the Eucharist, capturing its theological depth and spiritual beauty in ways that continue to resonate with believers. The miracle at Bolsena and the establishment of Corpus Christi left an indelible mark on the Church. The Cathedral of Outtro, built to house the blood-stained corporal, stands as a testament to this legacy. Its Gothic architecture, adorned with intricate frescoes and sculptures, reflects the profound reverence the Church holds for the Eucharist. Pilgrims from around the world continue to visit this sacred site, drawn by the power of the miracle and the enduring significance of Corpus Christi. This remarkable story is more than just a historical account. It is a testament to the transformative power of faith and the divine ways in which it can be reaffirmed. Father Peter's journey, St. Juliana's vision, and the miracle at Bolsena converge to remind us that moments of doubt are not the end of faith, but often the beginning of deeper understanding. The Feast of Corpus Christi, born from these events, continues to inspire millions of believers to honor the Eucharist as a living connection to the divine. Part 2. The Miracle at the Eucharist. The defining moment of Father Peter's journey took place during the Mass he celebrated at the Church of Saint Christina in Bolsena. This sacred ceremony was at the heart of his pilgrimage, a pivotal act of devotion as he sought clarity and renewal of faith. within the solemn atmosphere of the church, surrounded by the memory of St. Christina's steadfast belief, Father Peter approached the consecration of the Eucharist, the moment when, according to Christian doctrine, the bread and wine are transformed into the body and blood of Christ. As Father Peter elevated the consecrated host with trembling hands, an extraordinary occurrence left him and the congregation awestruck. The host began to emit drops of blood. This sacred blood flowed gently from the bread, landing on the linen corporal upon the altar and marking it as a visible testament to the divine mystery of the Eucharist. It was a moment of profound spiritual significance, one that left no room for doubt in Father Peter's heart. His struggles with faith melted away as he stood before this undeniable sign of Christ's real presence. The congregation, witnessing this miraculous event, was moved to a profound state of reverence. Some knelt in silent prayer, their hearts filled with awe, while others openly wept, overwhelmed by the tangible evidence of divine intervention. The miracle was seen as an act of God, a manifestation of Christ affirming the doctrine of the real presence in the Eucharist. It was as if the heavens had opened to reveal the sacred mystery in a way that no human could question. For Father Peter, the experience was transformative. The doubts that had haunted him for so long were replaced by a deep sense of peace and conviction. Tears streamed down his face as he carefully placed the consecrated host back onto the altar, his heart overflowing with gratitude and devotion. What he had witnessed was not only a miracle, but also an answer to the prayerful longing that had brought him to this holy place. The miraculous event left a permanent imprint, both physically and spiritually. The sacred corporal, now marked with the blood from the host, became a revered relic. The marble steps of the altar, touched by drops of the holy blood, bore silent witness to the divine moment that had unfolded within the church. These marks were not seen as imperfections, but as sanctified evidence of Christ's sacrifice and presence, forever connecting the human and the divine. The news of this miracle spread quickly, carried by the voices of the faithful who had been present and by the growing community of pilgrims visiting Bolsena. The story reached the ears of Pope Urban IV, who was residing in the nearby city of Orvieto. Recognizing the significance of what had occurred, Father Peter journeyed to Oviedo to personally present the sacred corporal to the Pope and recount the miraculous events. The relic, carefully preserved, was immediately recognized as a divine sign, not only for Father Peter but for the entire Christian community. The implications of this miracle were profound. At a time when the doctrine of the real presence was both a cornerstone of faith and a source of theological debate, the bleeding host provided undeniable evidence of Christ's presence in the Eucharist. This visible sign served as a reaffirmation of the Church's teachings, strengthening the faith of countless believers who heard of it. For those like Father Peter who had wrestled with doubt, the miracle offered a resounding message of hope and assurance that the mysteries of faith are real, tangible, and deeply connected to the divine. This event did more than just reaffirm a doctrine, it inspired a renewed sense of reverence for the Eucharist across the Christian world. The bleeding host reminded believers that the Eucharist is not merely a symbolic act, but a sacred encounter with Christ himself. It called Christians to approach the altar with humility and awe, fully aware of the divine mystery they were witnessing. The corporal from the Church of St. Christina, marked with the sacred blood, was enshrined in the Cathedral of Orvieto, where it remains to this day as a revered relic. Pilgrims from all over the world continue to visit, drawn by the profound significance of the miracle and the message it conveys. The miracle at Bolsena is remembered not only as an extraordinary event in the life of Father Peter but also as a pivotal moment in the history of the Church, affirming a central tenet of Christian faith and inspiring believers to deepen their devotion to the Eucharist. Through this miracle, God's message was clear: the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist is not merely a matter of belief, but a divine reality, one that transcends doubt and reveals itself in moments of grace and wonder. Part 3: Recognition by the Church and the establishment of Corpus Christi. The news of the miracle at Bolsena reached Pope Urban IV quickly. Residing in the nearby city of Orvieto, the Pope, born Jack Pantolian, was deeply moved by the account of Father Peter and the physical evidence of the sacred corporal marked with the miraculous blood. For Pope Urban IV, this was no ordinary occurrence. It came at a time when the Church was contending with theological challenges, including heresies that questioned core beliefs such as the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. To him, the bleeding host was a divine affirmation, a clear and irrefutable sign from God reinforcing the truth of this sacred doctrine. Pope Urban IV immediately summoned Father Peter to Oviedo to recount the events in detail and to present the sacred corporal as evidence. The Pope was struck by the fervor and conviction with which Father Peter spoke. Alongside the testimonies of eyewitnesses from Bolsena, the sight of the blood-marked corporal provided an overwhelming sense of divine confirmation. The Pope reverently received the relic and, understanding its spiritual significance, enshrined it in Oviedo, where it would be preserved as a lasting testament to the miracle. Pope Urban IV's response to the miracle was not only personal but also visionary. Decades earlier, a nun named St. Juliana of Liege had experienced mystical visions calling for a feast dedicated exclusively to the glory of the Eucharist. In these visions, she saw a radiant moon with a dark spot, which she interpreted as the absence of a specific feast in the church calendar to celebrate the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Despite her efforts to advocate for the establishment of such a feast, her vision had not been realized during her lifetime. As a young cleric, Pope Urban IV, then Jack Pantolian, had become familiar with Juliana's work. Now, as the miracle at Bolsena provided a clear divine sign, he saw the perfect opportunity to act on Juliana's vision and establish a feast that would not only commemorate the miracle, but also reaffirm the Church's teachings on the Eucharist. Recognizing the importance of this event, Pope Urban IV sought the counsel of the Church's most esteemed theologians to confirm the miracle's authenticity and to frame the theological significance of the new feast. Among those he summoned were St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Bonaventure, two intellectual giants of the 13th century known for their profound faith and unparalleled understanding of Christian doctrine. St. Thomas Aquinas, often called the Angelic Doctor, was tasked with composing hymns and prayers for the new feast. His writings not only celebrated the Eucharist, but also provided a theological foundation that deepened the understanding of its mysteries. One of his most famous works, Lauda Sion, became the official hymn for Corpus Christi, its verses eloquently expressing the Church's teaching on the real presence of Christ. St. Bonaventure, a fellow theologian and friend of St. Thomas, contributed his wisdom to affirm the event's significance, emphasizing the miracle as a divine gift to the Church. Together, their work helped shape the spiritual and liturgical framework of the Feast of Corpus Christi, ensuring it would resonate with the faithful for generations to come. In 1264, Pope Urban IV issued the papal bull Transiturus de hoc mundo, formally instituting the Feast of Corpus Christi as a universal celebration in the Catholic Church. The document not only proclaimed the significance of the Eucharist, but also invited the faithful to reflect on its transformative power. In the bull, Pope Urban IV wrote passionately about the Eucharist as the source of all virtues and the fountain of grace, underscoring its role as the heart of Christian life. The first Corpus Christi celebration was marked by a grand Eucharistic procession in Oviedo. The sacred corporal, bearing the miraculous blood, was carried through the streets, accompanied by clergy, dignitaries, and thousands of faithful who had gathered to witness this historic event. The procession symbolized bringing Christ out into the world, a public declaration of his presence not only within the Church, but also in the lives of believers everywhere. This act of devotion set a precedent for future celebrations of Corpus Christi, where processions would become a central tradition. To honor the miracle and provide a fitting home for the sacred corporal, Pope Urban IV commissioned the construction of the Cathedral of Oviedo. This architectural masterpiece, begun in 1290, was designed to enshrine the relic and serve as a pilgrimage destination for the faithful. Its facade, adorned with intricate mosaics and sculptures depicting scenes from the Bible, reflects the grandeur and spiritual significance of its purpose. Inside the cathedral, the chapel of the corporal was specifically created to house the relic. Visitors to this day can venerate the sacred linen, preserved behind glass, and marvel at the marble steps of the altar from Bolsena, still bearing marks from the miraculous blood. The cathedral stands as a testament not only to the miracle, but also to the Church's commitment to uniting faith and art in a way that inspires reverence and awe. The establishment of Corpus Christi was not merely a response to a miraculous event, but a profound reaffirmation of the Church's teachings on the Eucharist. At a time when heretical movements sought to challenge the doctrine of the real presence, the feast provided a powerful counterpoint, inviting the faithful to deepen their devotion and understanding. By publicly celebrating the Eucharist through processions and prayers, Corpus Christi bridged the gap between the sacred and the secular, bringing the mystery of Christ's presence into the hearts of believers. Through the miracle at Bolsena, the vision of Saint Juliana, and the leadership of Pope Urban IV, the Feast of Corpus Christi became a unifying force within the Church. It continues to inspire millions of Catholics around the world, serving as a reminder of the transformative power of faith and the enduring mystery of the Eucharist. Part 4. The profound significance of Corpus Christi. The Feast of Corpus Christi is not just a celebration of a miraculous event or a historical tradition, it is a profound reminder of the central mysteries of faith that define Christianity. Its significance extends beyond its origins, carrying deep spiritual, communal, and universal messages that resonate with believers and non-believers alike. As we reflect on this feast, three key aspects emerge, each offering a rich understanding of why Corpus Christi remains one of the most cherished observances in the Christian calendar. At its core, Corpus Christi is a celebration of the Eucharist, the sacred act where bread and wine are consecrated to become the body and blood of Christ. For centuries, this belief in the real presence has been a cornerstone of Catholic theology, embodying the mystery of God's love and sacrifice for humanity. The miracle at Bolsena reaffirmed this truth in a tangible and awe-inspiring way, providing believers with a divine sign that Christ truly dwells within the consecrated elements. The Feast of Corpus Christi invites the faithful to reflect on this profound mystery, deepening their reverence and devotion. It serves as a call to approach the Eucharist with humility, recognizing it as not merely a symbolic act, but a transformative encounter with the divine. Through processions, prayers, and public adoration, the feast makes the invisible visible, bringing Christ into the streets and into the hearts of those who witness it. For many, Corpus Christi is also a time to renew their faith, to remember that the Eucharist is a source of spiritual nourishment and a means of drawing closer to God. It is a celebration that transcends routine observance, inviting believers to enter more fully into the mystery of Christ's presence and sacrifice. One of the most inspiring lessons of Corpus Christi lies in the story of its establishment. The collaboration between Pope Urban IV, theologians like St. Thomas Aquinas, and the inspiration drawn from St. Juliana of Liege highlights the value of unity and humility within the Church. Despite their extraordinary intellect and influence, figures like St. Thomas and St. Bonaventure approached the task of composing hymns and prayers for the feast with a spirit of service, dedicating their gifts to glorify God. The first celebration of Corpus Christi, marked by the grand Eucharistic procession, also emphasized unity within the Christian community. The procession brought together clergy, dignitaries, and ordinary believers, all walking side by side in devotion to the Eucharist. This act symbolized the Church as one body, united in faith and love, transcending differences in status or background. The feast reminds us that the Church is strongest when it is united, not only in its doctrines, but also in its actions. It calls on believers to embrace humility, to work together in harmony, and to recognize that their shared faith in Christ is greater than any division. In a world often fractured by conflict and discord, Corpus Christi serves as a beacon of the peace and solidarity that can be found through faith. While deeply rooted in Catholic tradition, the significance of Corpus Christi carries a universal message that transcends religious boundaries. At its heart, the feast is a celebration of love, the love of Christ for humanity, demonstrated through his sacrifice, and the love that believers are called to embody in their own lives. This message of love, compassion, and humility is one that resonates across cultures and faiths. The public nature of Corpus Christi processions, where Christ is carried into the streets, reflects a broader call to bring faith into action. It is not enough to celebrate the Eucharist within the walls of the church. Believers are encouraged to live out its message in their daily lives, showing kindness, mercy, and respect to all. In this way, the feast bridges the sacred and the secular, reminding us that acts of love and compassion are the truest expressions of faith. Even for those who do not share the Catholic belief in the Eucharist, the underlying principles of Corpus Christi, unity, humility, and the transformative power of love offer valuable lessons. In a world often divided by differences, the feast stands as a reminder of the importance of coming together in mutual respect and understanding. It challenges us to see beyond our own perspectives, to practice empathy, and to build bridges rather than walls. The legacy of Corpus Christi, born from a miraculous event and nurtured by the devotion of countless believers, continues to inspire awe and reverence. Its significance is not confined to the past, but lives on in every Eucharistic celebration, every procession, and every act of devotion inspired by the feast. For Christians, it is a powerful reminder of Christ's presence and the transformative power of the Eucharist. For the broader world, it offers a vision of a community united by love, humility, and a shared commitment to the common good. As we reflect on the Feast of Corpus Christi, let us remember the profound truths it represents: the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, the strength found in unity and humility, and the universal call to love and compassion. These are the messages that have made Corpus Christi a lasting celebration, one that continues to touch hearts and inspire lives across centuries and cultures. As we conclude this journey through the profound story of Corpus Christi, let us pause to reflect on the deeper truths that this sacred feast invites us to embrace. At its heart, Corpus Christi is a celebration of faith, faith in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, faith in the transformative power of love, and faith in the unity that can bring communities together. But beyond the theological significance, this story also reminds us of the importance of seeking understanding, embracing humility, and living out the values of compassion and kindness in our everyday lives. The miracle at Bolsena, the vision of Saint Juliana, and the tireless efforts of Pope Urban IV and great theologians like St. Thomas Aquinas all point to one resounding truth: faith is not static. It grows and deepens when we take the time to learn, to reflect, and to open our hearts to the divine mysteries around us. Whether through the Eucharist or through acts of love and service, we are invited to encounter the sacred in ways that transform both our hearts and the world around us. As you think about the significance of Corpus Christi, let it inspire you to live with greater purpose and intention. Let it challenge you to strengthen your own faith, to seek unity in your communities, and to embody the virtues of humility and compassion in all that you do. These are the values that not only uplift the individual, but also build a more loving and inclusive world. We hope this story has brought you insight and inspiration. If you found meaning in this journey, we encourage you to take a moment to share it with others. By doing so, you can help spread the messages of love, faith, and unity that lie at the heart of Corpus Christi. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an opportunity to explore more meaningful stories like this. Together, let's continue uncovering the rich history and profound lessons of faith that inspire us to live better, more compassionate lives. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.